This engine should not sound as good as it does. Today on Coffee and Trains, I'm probably going to go way too hard on this, but we're doing a deep dive on this new locomotive. This is the ScaleTrains Rivet Counter in-scale GP40. This is the full production version. I've tested the pre-production version a little while back, so we're going to see how this thing stacks up. Plus, we're going to see how strong it is, get way up in its personal space to check out the detail, and probably go too far in analyzing its sound effects. And then we're going to rip it open. Okay, we're going to gently open it because I want to be able to use it again, and check out its insides. And why am I doing this? Because if you're going to pony up the money for one of these things, you need to know what goes into it and if you're getting a good locomotive. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, my name's Jimmy. I'm drinking some Iron Horse Roasters coffee, and this is Coffee and Trains. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and be featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below, and who knows, you might see your name pop up on an episode of Coffee and Trains. Also, this episode is brought to you with support from Trains.com. You can get $10 off your order of $50 or more by using the promo code JimmyDIY at checkout. Link in the description. Cheers. The G40 was built between 1965 and 1971. Over 1,200 were built, with Penn Central and Baltimore, Ohio, being the largest single owners. The Rio Grande, like this one right here, owns 43 of them. The G40 was used for both fast freight and local trains. It's a very versatile engine. So let's get to the mod. This model has every bit of the detail that you would expect from ScaleTrains. As you can see, when we get closer than 90% of the people will ever be, seriously, this is close. But it does let us appreciate the separately applied windshield wipers. That might be my new high watermark on detail and N-scale, at least on diesels. It used to be painted silver brake hose tips, and now we have separately applied windshield wipers. Yep, new bar set. Now, it also has those micro-trains compatible couplers that they switched to a while back, and they're that brown color, which I appreciate, so it can look like those used couplers in the real world. Now, we're going to do two tests. The first is going to be what I've called before the James Wright pull test. He's the one that originally started doing pull tests to do like this, and I thought it's a neat idea to do on these for N-scale. So let's see how much force this thing can exert. Next, we're going to test the audio. Now, this is some crystal clear sound. I want to go on record for that. And what I'm going to do is record some of the sound effects from it. Then we're going to put the file into an audio spectrum analyzer to see what we get in terms of the number of frequencies it can put out. Now it's time for surgery. To remove the shell, we need to remove the couplers by removing the screws that hold them on. Once that is done, we can carefully remove the shell of the locomotive. And this exposes where the board is. You can see that ScaleTrains puts it on top with the decoder in the back. This is an ESU E24 decoder. As far as I know, ESU and Digitrax make decoders that can mount to this. The speaker is connected by running a wire through the dedicated wire runs in the chassis all the way into the fuel tank where the sugar cube speaker can be mounted. If you get the DCC ready version, you're going to find a couple of speaker pads that you can solder it to. It is extremely easy to do. I have added sound to a number of ScaleTrains and Scale locomotives. It's about the easiest one you can do. We also have all the various wiring for the lighting effects as well. Now, rather than just running it around my layout, let's do a little bit of switching, because that's going to put a locomotive to the test in terms of low speed and how it does running over potentially dirty track and things like that. So let's get switching. Overall, this is another slam dunk from ScaleTrains, and I really like it. Now, I am adding this to my Blue Ridge and Western fleet. I intend to simply weather it and make it look like they patched over the Rio Grande and maybe put the BRW on it, but left the colors. So the Blue Ridge and Western is a Class 3, so you have a lot of different locomotives that could potentially be on it, and I think that's the way I'm going with paying the locomotives, so I can kind of get whatever I want and just patch it to Blue Ridge and Western. So I'm going to link this in the description below if you want to see all of my other ScaleTrains reviews. I have a playlist of them right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.